Hey, what's up everybody, it's BaldGuyAce, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how you can make a cactus farm that you can farm one-handed and still get a gold medal in the Jacobs event. Make sure that you watch the entire video before you actually start building the farm, because sometimes if you start doing the steps without actually watching the whole thing, you may actually do something that you have to actually undo later, and so it's much better to just watch everything through first and then go through and do the steps. Okay, so step 1 is to build a giant slab of dirt that goes the entire length and width of the farm that you want to actually build. By the way, this video, as you can tell, is a little bit different than my other videos because I'm not actually going to build the farm right now. My farm is already built, so I'm just going to show you what I did. It should be pretty much the same because cactus farms are pretty easy to build. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below and I'll do my best to answer that for you. Also, feel free to join my Discord, and I'm also in there a lot, so I can help you by answering any questions you have in there. By the way, my cactus farm is actually 240 by 160 because I have a max island size, so I decided to go the full length of my island. But if you didn't upgrade your island all the way, that's totally fine. You can just make your size 160 by 160, which is a full island size, and then you can just go up one more layer and just add a few more rows so that you can make sure you get gold. So in order to build this slab of dirt, you can just use a builder's wand and an infinidirt wand, and then you can just make one row of dirt first, and then you can just go to the row that you made, and then you just hold your builder's wand out like this, and then you can just extend it out by right-clicking. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to actually build my farm out this way, but that's what you would do, except you do it in the other direction so that you can get a slab of dirt that's the full size of the farm that you want to build. Then after you do that, you want to build a full layer of sand right above that dirt. Now, building the sand, you can use a builder's wand, but you're still going to have to actually buy the sand from the builder in the hub. So you're going to want to use several storage backpacks to store all of this sand, or maybe ender chest pages. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and forth to the builder in the hub a lot of times to make sure that you actually get this full layer of sand. But you can do it however you want. It just may take a little bit longer if you have to go back and forth to the hub. So once you have the full-size layer of dirt and the full-size layer of sand that covers your entire farm, the next thing that you want to do is step 3, which is to build a one-row border on 2 of the sides of the farm. This border just prevents you from falling off of your island when you're farming. So as you see here, it's just 1 block higher. I chose to use stone bricks for my border just because it looks cool, but you can use any kind of a block that you want for the most part. So you do it on this side, and then you go all the way down to the other end, and you do the border on this side as well. By the way, before we get to step 6, it would be super awesome if you guys could just take 5 seconds and quickly hit that subscribe button and also the like button. It really helps me out because I'm getting really close to YouTube rank. So if you guys just hit that subscribe button, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, subscribe, then we're all set and we can hopefully get YouTube rank. If you're already subscribed, I thank you very much for that. You can also help me out by hitting the like button on the video as well. And with that out of the way, let's get right to the next step. Okay, so after you build the 2 borders on each side of your island, the next thing you want to do is step 4, which is to build the slabs that divide each section of cactus. The first 2 rows of slabs are actually just going to be 2 spaces apart. This gives you the first starting row to farm the cactus. So what you want to do is just first build on the very edge of your farm 1 row of stone slabs, and as you see here, it actually goes above these stone bricks here, so it's actually a half layer up. I chose to use stone brick slabs, but you can actually use any kind of slabs that you want. It is, however, important that you use slabs and not full blocks, because if you use full blocks, then you're going to actually block yourself when you're trying to farm the cactus by going side by side here. By the way, you can actually buy stone brick slabs straight from the builder in the hub, but if you want to save a little bit of money in storage, you can buy stone bricks and then actually craft them into stone brick slabs when you need them to actually save storage, and it's a little bit cheaper. So what you want to do is just build this first row right here on the very edge of your island. After you build this first row of stone slabs, you just go 1, 2, and then you build another row right here. And then you build this down to the end. So as you see on my farm, there's actually a space at the end. This is actually there on purpose. But when you're actually building the rows for the first time, you might as well fully complete the row, and then at the very end, after you're placed all the rows, you can then go through with a pickaxe and actually knock out those spaces all at once. It makes it a lot easier to place the rows down. And because you're going to be breaking these later, for now, when we're placing this, we want to actually ignore these 2 slabs that are placed right here in every section. They're just to guide you while farming, but we're going to place those later. For now, what you want to do is after you place this next row, you want to count over 7 and then place another row going back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then on this 7th row, this is where you want to go back. And because you can't really just start a row right in the middle like that, you're going to actually want to start right here, and then you can do that and then go the whole way down. Because like I said at the end, we're going to actually break this at the end. But since my farm's already finished, I'm going to break it here like that. So as you place this row, you then go down to the other end, placing these slabs. So as you see at the end, these rows on this side are actually completed and they're not actually broke. And that's on purpose because the way you farm this is you go up and then you go back down. So over here, you actually want this to block you so that you end up going back down the other way. So then when you get to the end of here, you just count over 7 again, and you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you just go down the next row. At the end of every row, you're just gonna count down another 7, and then you're just gonna place another row. And you're just gonna continue to do this all the way down until you get to the very end of your farm. And as you'll see, depending on what the size of your island is, the end of your farm may actually not have room for the full section of cactuses, and that's totally fine because you're not gonna need a full, exactly perfect farm to make this work. So what you wanna do when you get to the end and you can't actually place anything after 7 rows is to just stop. You don't have to place a closing row at the end here because you're actually going to be farming this direction, and so you'll be able to get all the cactuses without actually placing another actual slab row right here. So then when you're done placing all these slab rows, which are 7 rows apart each, you then want to make sure that you're on one side of your island. In my case, it's on this other side over here. And on this side of the island is where I actually have the spaces at the end of every row of slabs. For now, the way, if you're following this guide, you won't actually have these guiding slabs here, so they won't be in your way yet. So you can actually go down here like this, and what your farm is going to look like is you're going to have it like this. And you actually want to go down here like this and take out your pickaxe, doesn't matter what kind of pickaxe it is, and you just break that, and then you just run right through breaking everything. I have these guiding slabs here, so I actually don't want to break these, but you're not going to have those yet in the way that you're following along this guide. So you can just run right along with your pickaxe, breaking all of these 1 slabs right here so that you can actually have a space at one end of your island. You only want to do this at one end, not at both ends. It's going to be at whatever end you choose to have the guiding slabs at. And so then once you get done with that, that brings us to step 5, which is to actually build the guiding slabs. So as you see here, you really only need a slab actually on this section, but it's just easier to build one right here so that you can have something to build off of. So for instance, I'm going to break this just to show you guys what I mean. So I just broke that off right there. And so what you'd want to do is you want to go 2 over from wherever each row is. So as you see, this row is right here, and then you want to just go over 1, 2, and then you place that, and then place that. What this does is it guides you so that when you're farming and you go forward, you actually hit into this, and then you know you can go back this direction. So what you want to do is actually build this 2 after every row. So then you get to this row, and you go 1, 2, and you place that, and then that. Then you go over here, this row ends, and you go 1, 2, and you place these 2 there. Same thing here, and you just keep doing this all the way down the end, and these are just the guiding slabs that help you to farm in a snake pattern. So then once that's done, that actually brings us to step 6, which is to place the cactus. I actually left a section of my farm, as you saw before, that does not have cactuses placed in it yet, and I did that on purpose so that I could show you how to place the cactuses. So first I'm just going to buy some cactus from the bazaar. Alrighty, so I bought some cactus from the bazaar. So basically, as you see, cactus is placed every other block, and you can't place it next to any other block that's already there. So as you see, because these guiding slabs are here, you'd want to actually start like this and then go every other block down this row, and then they would alternate. So then the next row, as you see here, would be every other block the other way. Now you can place this at whatever speed you want, but if you're going at a really fast speed, you're going to skip a bunch unless you actually go 1 by 1 here and actually look at what you're doing. So that just takes forever when you're placing this cactus. So for me, I actually like to use the rancher boots and actually set my speed to 100 so that it's actually capped at that. This allows me to just hold down the arrow key and hold my right mouse button down and just plant this cactus like this without having to actually worry about missing any spots or having to go back and things like that. If you don't want to buy rancher boots, what you could do is just crouch. And ideally, if your speed is probably at like 200 and you crouch, that would probably be a good amount. But you can kind of experiment with it because you don't want to actually miss any spots while you're planting the cactus like that. So at a speed 100, you can just kind of hold down your right mouse button and just kind of move over like this. And you can just do this to plant all of your cactus. And it's pretty easy. It still takes a while to do it, but at least you don't have to worry about missing spots because going at speed 100 is kind of nice. And then once you get to the end of the row, you just go right back down again. And as you can see, we want 4 rows of cactus per section. So after you get your 4 rows, then you just go on to the next section and do another 4 rows. And you just do this until your entire island is filled with the cactus. Okay, so then once you placed all your cactuses down and you're ready to start farming your farm, you actually go back to the beginning of your farm right here where you have your first row that you start in. You go back to the beginning here where it's closed off, and all you have to do is get your cactus knife out right here. Then you want to get your speed up to 400 if you can. So I just use my rancher boots and make the speed cap 400, but you could use a god potion or different types of equipment. You don't have to get to 400 speed, but it's ideal to get to the max 400 speed if you can. Then what you want to do is you want to use your personal deleter, and you want to actually put one piece of cactus into your personal deleter. Of course, don't do this until after you already placed all your cactus down, but the reason why you want to do that is because unfortunately, the personal compactor does not work properly with cactus. So as you see here in my personal compactor, it actually lets you put enchanted cactus green and enchanted cactus into it, but it won't actually do anything because of the way that it's set up. And as you see, if it was working already, you'd be able to see that it would have compacted this cactus already, but it did not. So there's no point in actually having this in here, so I'm actually going to take it out. When you're using your personal deleter, you want to make sure that it's actually turned on after you put the cactus in it. That way it'll actually start working. Then you want to just equip your cactus knife, and you want to get yourself at a 90-degree angle. You can do that using the NEU mod, which I'll have a link to in my Discord along with all the other mods that I use, but you actually don't need to get the mod if you don't want to. You could just press F3, and if you press F3 and you look, it'll actually show you your angle where it says facing. See how it's moving right there? I want to get that to actually say 90 degrees, and it's the same thing as the mod. So as you see, it's 90 degrees on both the mod and the F3 button. Now I can undo F3, and now I want to get myself so that I can actually farm one-handed. So what you want to do is go hit escape and then go to options and then controls. And then where it says attack destroy as button 1, you want to actually click that, and instead you can make that any kind of button on the keyboard that you're not using. I choose to use C, but basically you can use whatever key you want as long as you can use the left hand of your keyboard so that it can actually be farmed one-handed entirely. So now that the keybinds are set, you can go back to the game, make sure you're still facing 90 degrees, and then you just press whatever button that is. In my case, it's C, and then I can just go to the left, and as it looks like I'm not actually breaking this because the cactus is getting deleted, but I am actually breaking the cactus because as you see, my XP is actually going up. And when I get to the end of this row, you'll see that I just go forward until I hit the guiding wall right there. Those are the guiding slabs that I placed down. Then I can go to the right again. And you might actually have to go back a little bit so that you're leaning against the slabs that are behind you, because otherwise you might start running into the cactus that's right in front of you. But that may not necessarily always happen. And then when you get to the end of this row, you just go forward until you hit the next set of slabs, and then you just go to the left while you're still holding whatever button down is that you actually break the cactus with. So this, as you see, is completely one-handed. Of course, if you're doing a Jacobs contest, make sure that you equip an elephant pet so that you can get the most out of it. You also want to probably get your cactus knife all set up and kind of maxed out. But yeah, once you do that, you'll be able to get gold in cactus by doing it one-handed. If your island is not max size and you only built it 160 by 160, you may need to build one layer up. That can be easily done though. Just build one more layer. You don't have to do a full thing though. You can just build a few rows and that should be enough. You can kind of time it out by trying out one contest first so you don't waste your time, and then see how far you get. And if you don't get gold with one contest, you can then build the second layer and just build a few more rows and see how things go. Once this farm is done, you can now always get gold in cactus, which is one of the easiest things to get gold in anytime there's a contest, which will get you pretty much a free 1 million coins, which is kind of nice. I should note that if you're not able to use the personal deleter, you can still attempt to get gold in cactus. It's just that every time your inventory fills up with cactus, what you're going to want to do is just quickly type /BZ, then click on the cactus and then click sell instantly so that you can sell it to the bazaar. Then you can click E and then you can get right back to farming. Unfortunately, that does require that you have a cookie, and it is going to be really annoying to have to do that every few seconds, so I definitely recommend just getting a personal deleter so that it can be a lot easier to get gold in cactus. Well guys, I hope this guide helped you out, and if it did, it would make a massive difference to my channel if you could just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's totally free, and you can always change your mind if later on you decide you want to unsubscribe. But it really helps me out, so please go ahead and do that. Also leave a thumbs up, and until my next guide, I'm BaldGuyAce, reminding you to embrace the baldness.